What's up, folks? It's Mickle here, and in just 2 short weeks, Ford Motor Company is going to begin production on my brand new 2025 Ford F-150 King Ranch Edition. I'm excited for the new build, but for now, I wanted to take the time to explain what my experience has been with the 2017 that I have right behind me here, as it's approaching over 400,000 miles in 8 years. So that's 50,000 miles a year. The reason I'm doing this video is I figured perhaps it would help someone who may be looking to get into the F-150, especially King Ranch Edition, see what our experience has been. So I'll tell you how I use mine, why I use it, where I take it, what the maintenance costs have been, what the actual costs have been, in hopes that perhaps it'll help you out with your purchasing decision. Let me tell you who this video is not for. If you have the attention span of a TikTok video or a YouTube short, you just want a quick and dirty, this is not it. Look, I'm not 50 and over crowd. I watch YouTube when I'm in my living room eating dinner on a 60-inch screen TV, or in my office when I'm not watching CNBC on a 60-inch screen TV. So I'm not watching this stuff from a phone with a short attention span. This is grown man business. This is a grown man's truck or woman, but these things cost tens of thousands of dollars. My new bill is approaching 100,000. I never thought I would consider paying that much for a truck. So for that reason, I'm going to talk a long time. So if you don't want to be a part of this business, hit backspace, exit now, because we get ready to get into it. So with that being said, let's get started. All right, so this is the exterior of the truck. As you can see, it still looks really, really good. People who don't tend to follow the Ford F1 series that closely, which is probably not a lot of those people, are surprised to know that this thing is a 2017. They really think it's newer than that. When I bought it, I mean, and it looks this good right now. I hand wash it, but you can, if you like the way it looks right now, imagine when I bought it, when I first saw it brand new on the lot. It was just amazing. Of course, the paint was glistening, the 20-inch chrome wheels. But I drive this truck to very high-end events. I mentioned in the description, and maybe that's what got some of you all's attention, was Mar-a-lago. Now, for those of you who don't know what Mar-a-lago is, it's a rich history, but it's also President Trump's house. Now, it doesn't mean I'm a Republican. It doesn't mean, you know, I know Trump is divisive and all that stuff. I'm into high-end vehicles. I get invited to Mar-a-lago twice a year, and I go. The first place I went when I bought this truck, or one of the first places I went, was to Mar-a-lago for a car show. When I pulled up in this vehicle, the Secret Service went crazy. Now, as you can imagine, these are the good men and women. As you can see, the running boards come out there automatically. It's pretty slick. These are the good men and women that guards the president and his family. I used to work in the White House under the Obama administration, so I truly want to let you all know that this is not a political push for one person or another. But let's just be frank. For those of you who, you know, are into politics heavy or whatever, I don't really care. But when you get an invitation to a billionaire's house, don't be stupid. You go. So I went to Mar-a-lago, and there were Maseratis and Rolls Royce and Lamborghinis and Ferraris and all those high-end cars. But this was the vehicle that got the attention, especially from the Secret Service. And other places I drive it as well. We just came back from the Hamptons up in New York. Get lots of attention up there. I don't know why New York gives this vehicle so much love and admiration. I'm guessing because they don't see a lot of big vehicles like this in the city, or maybe it's clean. I don't know. But at any rate, I take it there. I go, obviously, up and down 95 a lot. In addition to Mar-a-lago, I go to places such as jet parties. Like, I like jet parties, and I'm sure a lot of people may not realize that that's such a thing, but for people that own private jets or do private travel, we do have jet parties, and they tend to be flanked with Ferraris and Maseratis and such, mostly Ferraris. And I've met some great people. Again, driving this truck, not driving the Lamborghini, driving this truck. It's always a conversational piece when I pull up. Last jet party I was at, hanging out with Leno down in Naples. And then, of course, our great man, Michael Myers, behave, hung out with him. But again, driving this truck is good enough to go to the mansions that I go and take a look at. I do a lot of that when I'm going to high-end events, whether it's the president's house, jet parties, going off to places like Fisher Island, very exclusive places in Miami. This truck does just the job. I also have a Mercedes S-Class, but that car can't do what this truck can. This truck is like having a Mercedes S-Class or a BMW 7 Series or whatever you want to equate it to, except in its useful, functional way. When I was at Fisher Island, as I said, I do a lot of conference calls and sometimes they take hours. I was sitting, and when you go to Fisher Island, for those of you who don't know or never looked it up, it's a very exclusive place in South Florida, in the Miami area, where you got to have either a lot of time or a lot of money or both, because you cannot drive your vehicle to your house. You drive your vehicle onto a ferry, and then a ferry takes you to the island, and then when you get to the island, you get off, or you drive off, and you go to your residence. So I was on Fisher Island sitting idle, and again, that's the point what I'm getting to, the sitting idle ability and the battery power of this truck. I'm driving my S-Class, I'm sitting idle doing a conference call before we got started for the Ferrari event for 2 hours in my S-Class with 2 computers hooked up. I got done with my conference calls, I went back to the event. When I left Fisher Island, again, I drive my S-Class onto the ferry, or I was about to drive onto the ferry when the thing cut off. It cut off. Now I'm holding up Rolls Royces, I'm holding up Ferraris, I'm holding up all of these wealthy high-end people because the S-Class battery could not power 2 computers for a mere probably hour and a half, whereas this truck will power these computers that I have and mobile phones for hours and hours. I've never had any starter problems whatsoever. So when they say built for tough, they meant it. This truck takes care of me for my mobile office needs. So if any of you all are going to be using these trucks and have them sit idle for a long time, maybe at work sites, this vehicle will not fail you. So that's something else to keep in mind. I use that feature probably more than anything, so just wanted to point that out for you all. All right, folks, so as you can see, I'm inside the vehicle now. This is my dashboard. I'm going to take you through this vehicle as if I use it every day. This is the way that I use it. It's very important to me. We'll start with just showing you that I really do have almost 400,000 miles. You can see just under 394. Today is Friday, so I can assure you by Monday morning, I'll be into that next thousandth of a digit. And probably by the time I take delivery of the new one, I will hit 400,000 precisely. So that should be in just a couple of weeks here. So how do I use this vehicle? Let's start with 2 key pieces. This is my MiFi, what it's called. This is my mobile hotspot. I tend to keep it right here. And I use it for a lot of computing. So as you can see here, I have this sort of multi-pronged. This is one of the greatest things that I found in a vehicle, sort of your 12 volt and then your AC 110. So it's that home plug. And then what I do is add this additional 3-prong. I don't smoke, so I don't need that lighter. And what I have is my mobile office in this truck. So this is computer number 1. As you can see, it's plugged in. I have computer number 2 here, it's plugged in. And then a lot of times I also have a 3rd computer that's in the floor. And these computers ride with me all the time. I have 2 phones. I'm currently shooting this video off a Samsung Galaxy Fold, the 1st edition. I'm not sure what edition they're up to now. I don't change phones much. And then I also have an iPhone from work, which I do not like Apple iPhones. I'm probably one of the few, but I don't care. I'm an Android guy. But what happens is I drive a lot from the Washington, D.C. region, which is where I am today, down to the greater Miami region. It takes me about 16 to 17 and a half hours. I tend to drive that straight. And the reason why I bring that up is I'm almost full here. You can see 614 miles to E. When I fill it up, depending on what season it is, summer and winter, it could be different. I can probably get 700 miles. So when I leave Northern Virginia, I tend to start clocking exits around the Dumfries area, the Potomac Mills area, if you're familiar with those parts. And then I can go nonstop all the way to Jacksonville off one tank of gas. Now, sometimes I'll stop for conference calls, maybe in Emporia, maybe in Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina, maybe in Lumberton, North Carolina, Florence, South Carolina, sometimes in Savannah. But you can pretty much believe I'm on the road a lot. We use Microsoft Teams a lot. So a lot of times the radio is down when I'm driving and I'm listening to conference calls. When I do have to engage my teams, I'll stop and pull over at a rest stop or something like that. But we do have a couple of cup holders. I'll sit there so I keep my drinks. I tend to keep a cooler in the back with me for drinks, so I don't have to stop and buy the expensive drinks at the gas stations. When I am not, listening to conference calls, I am listening to the radio a lot. I do have it disengaged right now, so the audio doesn't come through the sound system. What I will say is, even after 8 years, the sound system is great. I have not had to replace any of the speakers, so that's been great. Air condition still blows cold. We do have so many options here for your seat, which I tend not to use these things. I just drive. You can change, the multicolors of the lighting, driver side and passenger side seats. So for the long drives, I do know a lot of people just don't like to do those long drives, and they'll say things like, if it's more than 3 or 4 hours, they have to get on a plane. Fortunately, I don't have that problem. I can drive for long periods of time. As you can see, the dashboard is still in good shape. It's not cracked. None of that. I do hand wash this vehicle a lot. Let's see what else I should probably use the sunroof more, especially being and going to Florida. I don't. So as you can see here, let's see, can you see that? Yep, it reclines all the way to the back, this shade here, so a lot of sunlight can come in, but I really don't use that much at all. I probably should use it more, simply because I can see the rear mirror of the rear window there. I do recommend that you use that if you have it, because a lot of air can get back in there to the passengers in the rear. So again, just me driving. We do have the backup trailer assist. I've never used that. I've only used four-wheel drive once or twice. I do pull a 20-foot car hauler, and not a lot, but I do use that periodically. So that's that. All right, let's talk about the back. First thing, we have these big, nice doors. They're very solid. When you close the door, you definitely feel like you're in here, nice and tucked in. The wood grain, wood paneling is really slick. Again, this door is 8 years old. I put a lot of stuff in here. I take good care of the truck, but look, you see very few nicks and tears. This vehicle is held up really, really well. Now, getting in the back, which I'm never in the back, or I say very, very little, it's slick. I mean, look at this. You see the King Ranch, the dual colored stitching, right? The headrests. I have a family like everyone else. The family is in the back seat a lot, especially the kids. So, you're going to see, bubble gum. We're not much different from anybody else. You're going to have, ketchup from the fast food and all that sort of razzmatazz. Let me move the little bear out of the way here. One thing I wish Ford would do, and I think they're going to do for the new 2025, is put a box right here, so I don't have to have all my junk all out like that. It'll just be nice and tucked in the box. I think that they did upgrade that. I use big umbrellas. I don't like small umbrellas, so I keep that tucked under there. Pillow, right? Kids like to take a nap because it's nice and roomy back here. They never sit up front, so that's been great. One thing I will complain to Ford about, maybe some others have had this, they also have this outlet in the back, the 110, but it's very loose. Whenever I stick my computer, or maybe, you know, the kids stick something in the back, in fact, I'll just pull this out, it doesn't seat well, right? So you can see it just will not do what the one in the front will do. So that's a knock to someone. I don't know, maybe it was an easier fix. I never fixed it. Again, we don't smoke, so I never used the lighters. The vents back here are not the greatest, which is why I mentioned, I'll flip it around here, which is why I mentioned, and don't forget that you can open this rear window here. Lots of air circulates even with the air conditioner on. So I'll flip the camera back. Okay, and we're back in business. So that's sort of one knock. And again, I don't know if that's something easy to fix or not. The pockets in the back have been great. You know, again, we're regular family, right? The old COVID, wash your hands, keep a little mouthwash back here, make sure we stay nice and fresh. I keep some business portfolio stuff. Again, you know, looking at this, especially with the windows open, this is a view I don't get a lot, but it's really, really roomy in this vehicle. And it looks really, really nice. Again, you're talking about a truck that's 8 years old, and I use this thing a lot. So you can see the front, it still looks great. Again, just some hand washing with some zippy wax and some sort of, not necessarily Armor All, but one of those glossy type of conditioners for the tires to protect it. I forget the name of the one, but it doesn't really matter. They're not paying me anyway. So, but anyway, so again, you know, we use this thing. We use this truck a lot. Love the running boards that sort of tuck away in there. Never had any trouble with that. It's just been a great vehicle. So now I'm going to pause and we'll get into this sort of tailgate area here, because that's the business end. All right, let's get into the business end of this vehicle, because this is where it's going to go down for a lot of people. I've already flipped this thing down, but before I do that all the way, I do want to point out this nice trailer hitch. I have the one that folds so it's not sticking out, so you don't bust up your shins going in there. As I said, I use this truck a lot. I've taken it to Montreal, to the Lamborghini dealership up there. When I got to the borders, even the border patrol up there, they thought this vehicle was really slick, wanted to know what was I doing up there. Let me just tell you, don't tell them you're going to the Lamborghini dealership, because I don't know what they thought, but they gave me a hard time. They searched this truck up and down. Everything was fine until I said that. So I don't know. At any rate, look, Ford, I do really appreciate this flip tailgate, but I've had this trouble with my last F-150 King Ranch as well. See that? It's coming loose here. And I don't flip it excessively. You know, I'm not a work site type of guy, but this thing has come apart. This happened to me with the last one, and I can't get the kind that slides because I get dividers. So I'm not sure why it's not as sturdy. I would think it would last longer, but it doesn't. So I do use these air gates a lot. I do have that for my new order, for the new one that comes in, and whereas this one sort of curves, the new one seems to fold out in more of a square form, so I'll get more square footage. I like the extended tailgate, right, or the extended bed. You can tell right there, if this part is close, it's probably a 5 foot. Wide like that, that's the 6 foot, or I think you can even get longer. I don't really see those. In 8 years, I've only seen probably 5 trucks, if not 4. Maybe it was either 4 or 5 trucks that look exactly like this one. Now again, this one's loaded. You got the power telescoping folding mirrors, the 20-inch rims, the longer bed. It's the King Ranch edition, and that comes with a lot. So, you know, it's going to have a lot of features. So in the back, now again, this is real talk. This is real thing. I'm going to get into the maintenance in just a little bit. When I was coming back, we were coming back from the Hamptons not too long ago, and this truck broke down on the road for the first time in 8 years. My temperature gauges started reading like 240, 250, and I knew immediately something was wrong. What happened was the hose on the radiator, I don't know, bust, exploded, whatever. Temperature ran hot. I had to pull over, as you can see, to Royal Farms. I got some antifreeze, poured it in it. Of course, that didn't do any good. Fortunately, I had made it out of greater New York. I was in Delaware. I had to get a hotel. Thankfully, I was right next to a rest stop. An exit, and there was a Hilton or Marriott or something over there. I didn't really like that. I don't like doing things last minute. So I had to spend the night in Delaware. So, but you know, I don't know. These things happen. Not regularly with this truck. But I'll get into the maintenance part in a little bit. But right now, let's get into this tailgate. As you can see, I do have the spray-in bed liner. That's been great. We'll fold this one more time. I keep this suitcase back here because I don't like the jack that comes with these truck standards. So you can see all my junk back there. I do use the tailgate some, not a ton, but I use a shop jack, right? You can see there, I keep a piece of wood because I was at one of the high-end hotels down in Hollywood, Florida, and I had a flat one time, and we weren't on level ground, so I found a piece of wood to help prop things up so we could change the spare tire. So eventually I got a shop jack because I had a flat one time, and all that twisting of that cheap jack, the cheap jack that comes with, or I don't want to say cheap, but just there's better jacks out there. I said I'm not doing that again because I twist so many times I injured my shoulder. So now that I have this shop jack, I don't have that problem. But of course, after I got the shop jack, did I use it? Only once. But still, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. I do have some of these trusty whatever these darn things called, these tie downs, these wedges, and I tend to, you know, stick them right there. But my family comes along and they see it and they borrow it, and of course they never come back. So you know how that stuff goes. My family's probably not much different from yours, and people like to borrow things for just a little while, but they never come back. So that is that. That's how I use the tailgate. Let's see what else I got back here. I got some trash bags. You can never go wrong having a few trash bags. That, of course, the funnel for my antifreeze deal. Got some work boots. I don't do a lot of work, but you know, a little grass cutting every now and then. Go taking care of the parents. I keep my handy dandy 300-foot measurement when I'm going to look at these estate homes. I need to measure off stuff. That's what I use it for. So again, this is a real use case from a real customer. And let's see what, oh yes, this thing. This is that handy dandy extra step, right? So when you can't get up on the back of that truck anymore, you can use this pull-out step tailgate. I do use it every now and then. It comes out real easy and goes in real easy as well. So you can see that's that. And we'll go around to the front next. All right, folks, as I got the engine open here, let's talk cost and let's talk maintenance. We'll start with the cost. I got this from Al Packer up in the Baltimore area. Didn't realize Mr. Packer also has such a large South Florida presence, so it was good to see his name down here. The bottom line price for this vehicle, as you can see, was $67,000. MSRP before all those options was, you can see here, 54. Looks like 54.8. And 12,700 for, I don't know, something. Oh, that's all these other things. So you can see sort of the wheel well liner and the spray in bed liner, about 500 bucks there. Let's see, 2,000 extra for the chrome appearance package. If you do have the extra cash, I would say go for it. It looks really slick. 1,000 bucks for the technology package, box side steps, 325. You see those other things there that are of interest. Destination delivery, 1,300 bucks. Again, total cost $67,600. This was brand new in 2017. The 2025 version has gone up, I think, substantially. I wasn't real happy about it. Again, I'm coming in at about 85,000, but I'm like, crap, man. I wish they didn't cost as much. But again, these are not toys. These are grown folks' vehicles, and they cost as such. Now, this vehicle has kept itself up pretty good, or I kept it up, however you want to call it. Again, this is the hood. I'm never under here. I do take it in for oil changes regularly. When I can't get to Ford, I go to Walmart. So it's not like out of the reach or beyond going to, you know, a lesser service than Ford. My Mercedes, I can't do that. You can't do that with a Lamborghini. But with a Ford, you can do it. So, you know, there's the battery. I don't think I've had to replace the battery, but maybe once, whereas the Mercedes batteries S-Class, $700. I was not happy about that at all. Again, when it ran hot, you know, I was dealing with this deal. So let's see, what all did I have to do major? Coming back from the Hamptons, the hoses for the radiator went out. That was about $1,000. Didn't really like that. The timing jumped on this thing maybe the second year I had it. I don't know what caused it, but they had to rip this thing, the body, they had to rip it off the frame and got in and replaced the timing. I don't remember how many miles I had on it at the time, but they had to separate the chassis from the frame, and that cost me like $6,700. Was not expecting that at all. But the routine maintenance, the tires. Now the tires really impressed me. When I first got this truck, I was really like hesitant after I bought it, thinking the tires were going to cost, you know, just a ridiculous sum of money. They aren't. The first set of tires, the original set, I got 100,000 miles out of them, and that just came from rotating them when I got the oil changes. I did replace the tires at about 105,000 miles. I went to Walmart and got, you know, whatever this is, the Cooper. And, you know, again, it works just fine. I put a second 100,000 miles on it, and then I replaced the front. The back was still good. I think the back tires, I went 150,000 miles. So I might be on my third set of tires by now, but you can see the thread still looks really, really good. These are just road miles. Again, I do have a 20-foot car hauler that I put the Lamborghini in. So the truck, should I say the trailer, weighs about 4,000 pounds. The Lamborghini's about 4,000 pounds. I think this truck will tow 10,000 or 11 or whatever it is. The only thing I don't like about towing is your gas mileage is just completely done. When you hook up that kind of weight, you can't go very far. When I have the car and the trailer on here, instead of getting 700 miles, I can maybe go 250. So you're not going to do long distance hauling without stopping to the gas station a ton. But you know, that's the way I have used it. That's how I use it. Now it's going to be a generational vehicle. It's going to get passed down to my son. He's super excited about getting it. Still in good physical condition. I mean, you know, again, it has 400,000 miles, so the idle is not as smooth as I want it to be. It doesn't run quite as smoothly, But again, 400,000 miles, he's not gonna do the kind of driving I do. So just driving around town, he's gonna, you know, like all kids, they're gonna turn up the music. He's gonna have his fun with it, you know, probably haul some junk around or whatever. But he's getting himself a really, really great truck. He's really, really lucky and he knows it. All the cameras work. Truck still looks good. So if you're thinking about getting yourself a Ford F-150, I can speak for the 2017. It's been great for me. It's the only brand new vehicle I've ever bought. I had a 2010 before that. It conked down on me at about 170,000 miles. The engine went on it and they was like, hey, you know, whether it's gonna be a month or a year, you're gonna have to replace your engine. And I don't like getting in that business. So long story short, I ended up buying this vehicle. Have not been disappointed at all. So there you go. All right, and there you have it, folks. That's my 2017 Ford F-150 King Ranch Edition. About to ship it off to my son. I've shown you everything. I've shown you how I use it, where I use it, why I use it, the great places I've taken it to, from the grocery store all the way to the president's mansion. I'm looking forward to that 2025. Perhaps after I get it, drive it a few months, I'll come back, give it a review, and tell you what I think vis-a-vis this 2017. So with that, from the mobile home to where moguls roam, I am Anthony Von Mickle. Activate Gorilla Grind mode. Let's work.